For my video presentation, I decided to do the book The Spirit Catches You and You Fall Down by Anne Fadiman. This book is basically about a culture clash between Laya Lee and her family, who are Hmong, and they are from the country Laos. And with the American culture. Basically, a background of the story is that Laya Lee had a case of severe epilepsy. And Laya's family are refugees in California. And they wanted to find a way to treat Laya with her epilepsy. So they went to a small hospital to talk to some American doctors that could figure out a cure or just some way to treat her. But the two cultures are so distinct and so different from one another that they had so many issues. Eventually, it got resolved. But this was a very interesting book, and I related to it, being half Asian, an Asian American. I related to this book because I understand the differences between the Asian culture and the American culture. You know, the westernization is a very it's very big in Japan, where at least where my heritage is. It's very westernized. At least now it is. At least ever since World War II. One of the themes that I found from this book was power. In page 84, there's a great example about this. And here's one quote that I took away from this page that talks about power. It says, "Once the police are called and court orders are obtained, however, the difficulties escalate to another level," wrote Kulhane Para. "The differences are no longer about beliefs. The differences are about power. Doctors have power to call the police and to access state power, which Hmong parents do not have. Because the Hmong have historically been so resistant to authority, they are especially confused and enraged when they are stripped of their power in a country to which they have fled because of its reputation for freedom." So this quote basically kind of explains the difference of power. The American doctors, they have a lot of education. They're wealthier, as you could say. So they have more power. And to me, this kind of gives me an example of social stratification. What social stratification is a system by which a society ranks categories of people in a hierarchy. So I believe that is a great example of social stratification, because the status, the power, the wealth, or whatever you want to say about the American doctor is so much higher than the Hmong refugee family. So it's kind of unbalanced. It's very unequal. And I was looking at the Howell and Paris textbook, and another thing that I saw that was related to this was the social inequality, the inequality that refers more specifically to the differences in economic resources, political power, or social prestige. And that is a great example of that. And I also was thinking about the three areas of social stratification: power, wealth, and prestige. Power is definitely a big part of this particular part of the book in page 84, as well as wealth, because these American doctors, they go through 10 years of schooling, and they receive a big amount of salary because what they do is very important, as opposed to the Laya and the Hmong culture. They don't necessarily thrive in wealth and money and power and things like that. They're a little bit more, they're more sentimental. They're more family oriented. And that's just a part of their kinship. The second theme that I noticed in this book was family. And in page 247, one quote that stuck out to me about family was in the very bottom of the page. It says, "Here in the United States, it is everyone for himself. I say I am Hmong. For the Hmong, it is never everyone for himself." Immediately, I looked at chapter 4, again in the textbook, page 76, where it talked about ethnicity. And then I was thinking of the difference between race and ethnicity. Race is defined as differences based on biological means, while ethnicity is more cultural, such as language or religion or even occupation, the way you live your life. And it definitely showed theme like a topic of ethnicity, because like it says in there, America is everyone for himself kind of deal. It's an individualistic society here, while in other parts of the world, for example, like in Asia, or even parts of like Africa or South Pacific, everyone is together. Everyone is part of a clan or part of a tribe, a family, and can't leave anybody out. We have to have all the family together and not worry about that. And then it also talked about the U.S. being an open system, page 81. And U.S. is an open system. Like, you can start somewhere and then build yourself up. But I believe that in certain cultures, it's not necessarily the case. There are certain cultures where you have one role or one status or whatever, and then you stay that way. So, I believe that these two themes are very, they go together with this book, and it just shows me that we have to appreciate the different cultures that we interact with every day, and it just makes me appreciate more of who I am and the different cultures that I surround myself with, and I really enjoyed it very much. So, it was a good experience.